Have you ever had a reaction that felt bigger than the moment? Like something small happens and suddenly you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or like everything is falling apart. And you're thinking, why am I reacting this way? What's going on? Well, today I want to show you why that happens and how you can actually change it. There's a concept in neuroscience and trauma work that says your body remembers what your mind has moved on from. So, even if you logically know, I'm safe, I'm okay, this isn't a big deal, your body might still react like it is. Why? Because your brain stores experiences, not just memories, but as emotional and physical patterns. So when something in your present moment even slightly resembles something from your past, your nervous system reacts first, before logic, before reasoning, and before awareness. That's why it can feel so automatic. When we talk about limiting beliefs, most people think they're just thoughts. But they're not. They're learned experiences stored in the body and brain. They're moments where your system decided, this is not safe, I'm on my own, I have to be in control. And those decisions don't just live in your mind, they live in your nervous system. So now, years later, you're running a business, making decisions, leading, and your body is still responding based on something that happened a long time ago. I was working with a client recently, and every time something happened that was out of his control, he would spiral. Internally, it felt like everything was falling apart. He couldn't stay calm. He couldn't regulate. It was like his whole system would take over. And logically, he knew this isn't that big of a deal. But his body didn't agree. So we slowed it down. And instead of trying to fix the reaction, we got curious about it. We asked, when is the first time you remember feeling this way? All the way back. And a memory came up that he hadn't thought about in years. He was very young, preschool age. He got dropped off from the bus and no one came. His nanny didn't show up, his parents didn't show up, and he was left there, alone, trying to figure out how to get home. And he said in that moment, he felt scared, angry, and completely on his own. And even though he eventually made it home, his system learned something. When things are out of my control, I'm not safe. I have to figure this out alone. So now, as an adult, any situation that felt out of control triggered that same response, not because of the present moment, but because of what his system had stored. So here's where the work shifts. We're not going back to change the past. We're not erasing anything. What we're doing is allowing your system to experience something new in relation to that memory. Because your brain is always updating based on new experiences. So in that session, he was able to go back into that moment, not as that helpless child, but as the version of himself as he is now. And he was able to be there for himself, to guide himself, to support himself, to no longer feel feel alone in that moment. And what that does is it changes how the memory is held in the body. So instead of that memory triggering fear and chaos, it begins to hold safety, support, and resolution. This works because your brain doesn't store memories like recording. They're not fixed. They're reconstructed every time you access them. So, when you bring in a new experience, a new emotional state, you're literally updating the way that memory is stored. And when that memory shifts, the pattern tied to it shifts too. That's how we rewire limiting beliefs, not by forcing new thoughts, but by changing the experience underneath them. So, if you've been reacting in ways that don't make sense, feeling overwhelmed, feeling out of control, I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. Your system is responding based on something it learned. And the work isn't to judge it or push through it. It's to understand it and give yourself what you didn't have in that moment. This is the work I do with my clients, helping them understand their patterns, rewire emotional responses, and finally feel safe in the level they're stepping into. I have 2 private coaching spots left this month. And if you're ready to stop reacting from the past and start leading from who you are now, message me Rewire and I'll send you the details.